Hey guys, ever wonder what we would do with a time machine?
Tap in to find out.
Yeah. Tap in. You already know what it is. Yeah, tap in, come vibe for a minute. Two friends talking life, yeah, we really just living. From anime fights to the games we be winning. If it's nerdy or funny, yeah, you know we get in it. No script, no plan, just vibes in the mic. 1 minute we deep, next minute we hype. Debating who's strongest, who wins in a fight. Then switch to real life, like you good, you alright, ay. Whatever you into, we talking about it. So tap in, and let's get it. Tap in. You already know what it is.
Welcome to the Tapping Conversation Podcast. I'm Joby.
And I'm Kobe.
And today's episode is titled It's Time. It's kind of got a little double entendre meaning it's time for the podcast that we've been working so hard on. And it's all about time travel, time manipulation, and just time in general. How are you doing today, Kobe?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself, Joby?
Doing pretty well. You know, it's been a long time coming. A lot of planning, a lot of meetings. We got some cool t-shirts now. Hopefully we can roll those out soon. We've already talked about a Comic-Con coming up in November. I'm heading up to the area where Kobe lives in July around my birthday, so there would be some great content coming along.
I cannot wait. Can't wait for you to get down to Tennessee again so we can make some more content.
Absolutely. So today's episode is all about time travel, time manipulation, and kind of to give you a backstory of how this came about. Next thing, we were both, millennials complaining about the rising rent prices, of course. And we were like, if we had a time machine, we can go back to pay cheaper rent. And that kind of got the ball rolling on this theme for the episode is, what would we personally do with a time machine? You want to get us started, Kobe?
Yeah, I got you, Joby. If I had a time machine, I would love to go back and visit all my grandparents that are right now recently passed. I miss them dearly. I would love to see my old self of all the decision makings that I've made over the years, but to transition over into the future where I am right now in life.
Absolutely. I kind of read this thing and it made total sense. So memories, in a way, are a form of time travel, but just mentally and emotionally, because we're reliving that moment again and again. Maybe not the way it happened, maybe just the way we perceived it, but it is, in a way, a form of time travel per se.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see memories in a way where if you remember something in the past, it's a memory that just makes you drawn back into that past or just anything in the time traveling of it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Exactly. It's because you're reliving that moment that happened some time ago in the present. And if that's not the very definition of time travel, what is,
Right.
And it also goes hand in hand with nostalgia. Because when you think about it, you see like an old anime you watched when you were a kid, or an old movie or TV show, or even an old food, you get that nostalgia. Wouldn't that be like, I guess, emotional time travel? Because you're feeling those feelings you felt when you were a kid.
Yeah. It has sentimental value where you just are so like drawn to that memory and then you just don't want to like let go of it. So yeah, it's definitely like an emotional time also with that. For me, I would say one of my favorite animes growing up when I was young was Yu Yu Hakusho, and just watching it on repeat, Pokemon, Digimon, Sailor Moon, just watching a lot of the 90s anime when I was younger. I was just so like drawn to it. I just thought the art style was just perfect. The storylines, each character, they had their own flaws, but they usually shine and just do their own thing and just prevail in like anything that has anything going against them.
Exactly. Thinking back to some of the plot lines or some of the character developments that we grew up with, we can almost kind of relate to them in a way. And that gives us that, quote unquote nostalgia feeling. Like, for example, Digimon. We all want to live in a fantasy world where we had these creatures and we can digivolve them and just try to solve like the big problems going on.
Because if I honestly had my own Digimon partner, it would have to be Gatomon. It would have to be Agumon. Probably kind of cliche, but I love Agumon's Digi evolution line. When he went to Greymon for the first time, I was like, wow, this giant like dinosaur creature, like just phenomenal. And then when it finally go to champion to the ultimate to his mega, I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, Agumon's definitely probably the GOAT. He's like the Pikachu of Digimon, you could say. But my personal favorite would have to be Patamon. So TK, he was always the small kid, the underdog, and I kind of related to that as a kid. And seeing Patamon, being this small little weak creature with a little bubble attack, digivolving into this angelic creature, an Angelmon, and then
I was going to add to that when Patamon digivolved into Angemon for the first time and hit Devimon with the Fist of Fate, I was just like, man, that is awesome. And then just seeing him turning him back into an egg because he used all his power to help TK in the game just to try to get away from Devimon. I thought that was just true heroism just in its own way.
Oh, for sure. And it just goes back to that nostalgia feeling and being able to relate to these characters because that underdog ended up saving the rest of the crew that had more power, more experience, more bravery. It was the underdog that prevailed at the end of the day.
Usually the underdogs are like the best ones that you would want to have on your team, like always.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, a 30-minute dinner, asking what you want, chat it up, who would you pick?
Oh, that's a really good question. Kind of put me on the spot. Maybe George Washington Carver. I believe he was the one. I think he invented peanut butter or like the concept of peanut butter maybe.
He did.
I would love to ask him and just kind of pick his brain of like how did this like came around that you just saw maybe the peanut and just envision turning it into like this substance that everybody pretty much eats on like everything or put in like every type of meal. Yeah, I probably would definitely ask him about how this came around of just coming with the concept of peanut butter and just go from there, honestly, because I love peanut butter. I love my PB&Js. I put it in my morning oats when I need like a good little protein also to go in the oats. So I would just want to ask him about how would that, like, how would you, or like, what was your thought process of the peanut butter?
So not just peanut butter, actually. I don't know if you knew this, but I think he had like over 100-something patents in total. He was
I did not know that.
Yeah. He was a very great inventor. I wish they would dive deeper into his history when, in school. Because, most public education is like, oh, he created peanut butter. Let's move on. But no, he created the
like just
cotton
move on to
gin.
like the next guy.
Exactly.
Use it every single day. Yeah, I
Now-
definitely would love to pick his brain.
Now that I think about it, if I had to pick an historical figure to like have dinner with and chat, I'm a sports guy through and through. I love baseball. That's my main sport.
Oh,
I eat, sleep, breathe Atlanta Braves baseball. I would
I do remember you telling me that.
I would go back and have dinner with Eddie Matthews. He's a Hall of Fame third baseman for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, yeah. See, I honestly thought you was about to pick like Babe Ruth. Like in my head, I was like, is he going to name Babe Ruth because he was also pretty good for his time, also. But I didn't think about the first choice that you just named.
Yeah, I mean, he was an all-time great, but he was also an alcoholic asshole. So, I mean, don't know if I want to spend my one historical figure dinner on him,
Yeah, I agree. There's just so many historical figures that I couldn't even name off my hand of who I would love to at least get to talk to. It could be even like a 5-minute conversation just to understand them in a better meaning of how they invented something.
Right. Now, the other side of that coin, if you can think of like a futuristic person that you would like to speak with or have that dinner with, it'd be cool to speak with like the 100th president of the United States,
That would be dope.
Because we're like halfway there. I think
Yeah.
like 45, 46, I don't know, something like that.
I think it's 47,
47?
48, 47.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be dope. I agree with that, Joby. I think that'll be cool to be able to see the 100th president and just see his perspective of his thought process to try to understand the economy of that future and just whatever is going on. Because I hope that we are at least maybe robots at this point or just some type of half human, half cyborg that can somewhat experience this, maybe.
I could see it. Imagine like your daughter's about to go to a prom and like a full AI robot.
And they would say AI will take over one day and boom, into the future, that's a big possible chance.
Yeah.
Have your son or your daughter going to prom with some type of AI robot.
Like I need you to I'm going to program you to have her home by 11.
Yes, sir. I will have her home by 11. I got you. May I take your daughter to study?
I could imagine like the
That would be
chaos that would be behind all of that. I could see like some
oh
futuristic
man,
sitcoms having those as like, different tropes.
I can see that. I mean, Black Mirror does exist right now, and it does kind of have some stuff that kind of ties into like AIs and a lot of different stuff like that. But I can definitely see that where it's just, oh, you're dating a robot. Okay, cool. Have my child home no later than 10 or 11. And if not, I'm just going to shut you down.
I'm very glad you brought up Black Mirror, actually. They're one of the very few pieces of media that does time travel right, you know? Because, yeah, if you look to like older films like Back to the Future, that series, yeah, there's consequences, but you don't really feel like you don't really connect with it like it's life endangering or there's like this huge payoff. You feel like everything's going to be all right by the end of the movie. But shows like Black Mirror, I've seen plenty of episodes end in the worst possible outcome, and that's just what it is. That's life sometimes. There's not always a happy ending, you know?
Definitely is. That definitely is. Life is a giant mystery Pandora's box. One minute you're good, the next minute you're not. You're upside down, you're left to right. That's just part of life. It's just a ball of mystery sometimes.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now, there's one thing I did want to talk about. I don't remember where I read this article or like what publication it was, but it talked about the theory that time isn't linear, that we're on a loop. And if that were the case, time travel seems even more of a possibility using like wormholes or quantum
Yeah.
physics. So I've heard all kinds of crazy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means. Let me say that first of all. I believe logic leads the way, but some of these are interested to read, like the time loop theory or an actual multiverse where we're all experiencing different timelines all at once.
See, I don't want to say come off like I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I have read some of them that I'm also very about law and order and logic behind it, but there's chaos that kind of goes with that logic sometimes. And I do feel like there is like different multiverses that maybe we are doing different things in those multiverses. Like you could be here right now doing like we're doing the podcast, and then you could be another multiverse, Rich over here, and then over here you could have, let's say, you being a scuba diver in like type of water world type place, and it's nothing but water, and you're just always doing something in water. Like I kind of feel like that is kind of true-ish, maybe. I kind of do believe in it like a little bit.
Let me give you this question. Would you rather revisit your happiest memory or fast forward and view your happiest moment in the future?
Ooh, that's a really good one. Honestly, I would love to go back into the past and just revisit my happiest moment at the highest peak of just whatever age that just whatever made me the happiest. It could be my friends when I was younger or the hobbies that I loved and still somewhat do till this day, or just see my grandparents again. I'm very big on family, and I would say my grandparents were like everything to me, like growing up. Like being a only child, I would say my grandparents was I was around them, like, all the time, like, growing up.
It's hard to narrow down to one memory or one moment because I instantly think of being the first person in my family to graduate college or going to my first Braves game as a kid or
Yep.
even some of those nostalgic nights where we'd go like Pizza Hut and go to like the movie gallery and rent like a couple games on PS2 for the weekend. Different moments for different reasons. I don't think I can actually narrow down one, to be honest, but definitely something in the past. I don't want to spoil the future for myself, you know?
Yeah, I'm the same way, like, I don't wanna jeopardize something if I knew something in the future that could jeopardize what's going on in my present to go into the future. So you bringing up Pizza Hut, I miss the early '90s and the early 2000s when Pizza Hut was still at its peak. Going inside the diner and just getting the pizza buffet, the salad, the desserts, the server or waitress just being so nice and just perfect. And being able to go to the arcade section in the Pizza Hut and just play whatever games was on there was just cherry on top.
So the Pizza Hut down here in my hometown, they actually brought back the buffet for lunch.
Ooh,
I think it's like Monday through Friday and Sunday. And it's a cool nostalgic experience. You go in there, get your food, and you got your little red pepper flakes and your Parmesan. You can drown your stuff in.
mhm.
It's just, it gives you that nostalgic feeling for sure.
I think they're one of the main reasons why I love cheese on almost everything because I would just douse my pizza all in the Parmesan, just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle just so much, and then add a little hint of the little red flakes just for like a little kick of like heat on there.
Oh yeah, gotta have those red pepper flakes. It gives that little razzle dazzle,
It does. It definitely does.
So Kobe, we've talked about nostalgia. I know we briefly talked about Digimon and Yu Yu Hakusho, but what are some other animes that stick out for you nostalgically speaking?
Ones that stuck out for me growing up, I would say definitely Pokemon. Some people don't qualify it as anime, but I do. Growing up, it was just that '90s anime somewhat type of style. I just love how Ash just never gave up when him and Pikachu when he first came across Pikachu because he was late to go get his first Pokemon, and the only Pokemon he could ever get was Pikachu, and him and Pikachu was just at odds, beefing, battling each other. Then it got to the one point when Pikachu was getting chased by, I believe it was the Pharaohs or the Sparrows. He was ended up about to get hurt, and Ash came to try to save him, and he ended up thundershocking everybody, and that was like the moment for Pikachu to be like, okay, like this person is actually my best friend. Like he's not trying to hurt me or like anything like that. So I would say Pokemon was one of the animated shows that kind of mold me to be who I am because how you just never give up. Like Ash wanted to be the Pokemon master and just keep on getting stronger and he just never gave up. Until when he finally achieved that goal, I would say I kind of cried like a little bit of it. Another one that still is Digimon. I would say Digimon comes a little bit right behind Pokemon. Sometimes they kind of battle in between for like the title of like which one I'm liking the most right now. But I would say Digimon is a little bit right there behind them. I would say season 1 of Digimon, just how they came across the Digimon in the digital world and was just so confused and trying to figure out, but then having these Digimon partners to help them and try to get them back into Earth, and then them just building a bond, this friendship of like always being best friends forever. I've always just loved that about Digimon, where they really suck you in like, hey, this is the show. I will add one more into the mix. I've loved, loved, loved Gundam. Growing up, Gundam was also another one that is deeply tied to my heart. I used to build them when I was younger. I played the video games on the PS1 and the PS2. Growing up, I've always wanted to have my own actual Gundam and just control it, fly it, take it wherever I need to go, and just explore the world with the Gundams.
Yeah, Gundam was pretty great. It actually, I would say it breaks my top 5, especially that earlier 90s anime. So, funny story, I didn't really appreciate Gundam for what it was until maybe in my 20s. Because I looked at it like, oh, that's just a Power Ranger Megazord he's in. That's lame. And, when I finally sat down in my 20s and watched the series and a few of the spin-off series from it, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty cool concept, and this is a pretty cool IP, and it's actually very unique.
Can't remember which season of Gundam, but there was one in particular where where they jump into the robot itself. They can actually control the whole robot's movements. Like when they punch, the robot punch. If they kick, the robot would kick also too. Like they had this bodysuit type of setup once they go inside the robots and just cause whatever crazy damage or whoever they fight. I thought that was one of the best seasons because I'm like, yeah, that's really what I want to do. I just want to get in this robot, have my little suit on, and then just start punching, kicking everything, and the robot just responds to my movements.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that Hugh Jackman movie that came out. I think I was a teenager. It was called Real Steel, where he was fighting but controlling the robot.
Yeah. I forgot about that movie. Yeah, I forgot about that.
In a way, it's kind of the same concept.
I think, see, it is the same concept. I was gonna be shady and be like, well, I wonder who got that concept first, but no, it's definitely the same concept of just controlling the robot. If you make the punch movement, they follow the same movement. Kick, jump, slash, whatever you need to do, they'll do the same movement for it.
Yeah.
If I think you have any older animes from the 90s or maybe the early 2000s that you that's dearest to your heart.
So on Saturday mornings, me and my younger brother, we used to race to the TV to turn on Jetix and Toonami and stuff so we can catch Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon. I wasn't really a big fan of the big three as a kid, your Bleaches, your Narutos, your One Piece, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I kind of didn't really get into that until maybe my late teens, early 20s. But it's kind of the older hand-drawn style animes like Pokemon, Digimon, Sailor Moon. Even Sailor Moon's one of my goats.
Love Sailor Moon.
Just kind of those animes you can catch on Saturday mornings. Me and my brother would eat our bowl of cereal, our Reese Puffs. That was my favorite. And just watch anime and chill and be a kid.
See, you like the Reese Puffs. I was eating either the Golden Grams, the Kicks, or Cheerios. Sometimes it would be the regular or the Honey Nut Cheerio ones. I think I would just down the box of the Honey Nut Cheerios all by myself.
Oh, Honey Nut Cheerios are great. It reminds me, you remember the honeycomb? They were in the shape of a waffle.
Yeah. I actually saw them in the store earlier and I was like, oh, this is giving me nostalgia right here. I used to down them too. And do you remember the commercial for honeycombs?
Very vaguely. I remember they had that little, was it a squirrel, a badger, that crazy little character?
Yeah, it kinda remind me of a mouse mixed with a badger or something, but he was just very just everywhere. He kinda reminded me of the Tasmanian devil from Looney Tunes.
Exactly. He's kind of like the love child of Tasmania Devil and Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
See, why would you put that image in my head? Because now I'm forever gonna be seeing that.
But it makes sense, does it not? I mean,
It does. It does. It does, my bro. It does. It does. And see, I would never even thought that until you just pointed it out, and now I have this visual of the 2 making him. Oh my goodness.
whoa, that's all you. I just said he was the product. I'm not getting into the process.
Well, you kinda started it, so I mean, I gotta give you at least 2% out of it.
moving on. Just kidding. But yeah, just those Saturday mornings with the animes. We'd also play a lot of video games as kids. Me and my brother were huge video game kids. I mean, we'd play outside all the time as well. But when it was raining, dark, or in the middle of the night, we were playing video games. And I
You best
remember,
believe in video games.
yeah, for sure. I remember our dad getting us a Nintendo 64, and me and my brother would play Pokemon Stadium for what seemed hours. Because if we played Mario Kart, we'd get in a fight by like turn 2 on a race. So,
That does tend to happen.
oh, for sure. I know you mentioned you're the only child. I have an older brother and a younger brother, so I'm stuck in the middle. So I was starting fights with my little brother and getting picked on from my older brother. So I was kind of getting it both ways.
Yeah, you was getting both ways. I was over here just me, myself, and I in my imaginations, some friends here and there going outside, but a lot of video game playing for sure. For
Yes.
sure, for sure.
So what's the earliest video game memory that you have? Whether it's a specific game or a specific moment from a game.
Hmm. That's a really good question, actually. I do have a few, but I'm gonna try to narrow it down to at least one. I probably would say on the PlayStation 1, there was this game called Bomberman, I believe. It was these little people, they kinda look like bombers themselves, but they were different colored little humanoid people that ride on these weird looking pets, and it was like a racing game, but they had, like, a green rabbit, if I recall, they had, like, a blue bear-like creature, I believe, but you race through the track. I believe it was about 3 laps that you can do it, but you can it was kinda like, I would say, Mario Kart, like, each random little box that you hit, you get, like a different little weapon or option that you can use. A lot of times, it'd be, like, different bombs depending on what you get. I would just launch these bombs at the bots almost every single time just to try to get in first place, and it get to a point where the bots would just start spamming their bombs on me, and then I just end up losing, like, the match itself, and I remember playing that, I don't know, heavily, just so much of. But I probably would add another one into it. I would say another game that I will hold highly would be any Dragon Ball Z Budokai when it came out on the PS2. I played that game till sun up, till sun down. I played it with cousins growing up, the sun up to sundown, just battling, battling, battling. Always when we were both about to hit our hard punches, we'll just hit the analog stick where we just do the punches and kickers until whoever loses out of that little match part just wins the match. I like any Dragon Ball Z game back then also hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, I remember the Budokai games very well. I didn't play them much, but my little brother did. So we'd have our like PlayStations together and our little TVs beside each other, and he'd play that. And I would play like there's this game. I was playing the Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2 on PlayStation 2. It was like you're those little green tiny army men, and there were like different levels. Like inside the house, there's like a bathroom level, and you were like fighting in the bathtub. There's like a room level and like a living room level. I remember it being one of the most fun games I've ever played.
And that definitely sounds fun because if they were anything like the Toy Story movie, the first one, just being like that, being very intricate, just teaming up, doing whatever you need to get done to get the job done, I definitely would have played that when I was younger.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's one of my all-time faves.
Alright, this segment is actually going to be my little segment that I wanna do with some trivia, but it's going to be a lot of trivia with the time manipulation, time control, just anything that is tied with time itself.
Okay. I'm not sure how I'm going to do on this quiz, to be honest, but I will give it my all.
Definitely try to keep it easy as possible. I would say there is at least one that is from Marvel, but the rest is all anime related.
Okay. I have somewhat of Marvel knowledge, especially the MCU itself, and I'm not the biggest conceiver of anime knowledge, but I will, like I said, I'm going to give it my all. Hopefully, I don't bomb this.
I think you got this. I would say most of the questions will have between 1 to 4 questions, answers, and at least one true or false on there.
Okay. So you're giving me some multiple choice.
Kinda like kinda keep you up on your toes just a little bit.
Okay, I can work with that. All right, let's hit me with that first one.
So in Dragon Ball Z, how does Gudo stop time? It's gonna be A, blinking, B, not moving, C, holding his breath, or D, eye gaze.
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna go with holding his breath.
Yes, and that is actually the correct answer, holding his breath.
Look at
Every
me.
time that you're doing good. That's I would say for Gudo, for him, he has to hold his breath. If he is talking or not holding his breath at all, the target or targets can just move freely. But if he's holding his breath, they can't move at all. So you got that one correct. Good job. Good job.
Nice.
So the next one is going to be this one. Which character in Marvel uses a mystical artifact to manipulate time? The item is the Eye of Agamotto. It is going to be A, Thor, B, Storm, C, Doctor Strange, or D, Richard Reeds.
Okay. I thought this one was gonna be a little bit harder, but it's obviously Doctor Strange. And before him, I guess it would be, what was her name? The ancient one?
Well, the ancient one, yeah. Actually, I forgot about the ancient one before Doctor Strange. So you got that one correct.
2 for 2.
Let's see. I gotta turn this up a little bit. Let's see. Ooh, this one will be a good one. So for this next one, who was the first anime character to use time manipulation powers? The answers are Sailor Pluto, B, Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, C, the Makoto Kuno from Time Travelers, and D from DBZ, the one of the last questions that I gave you, Gudo. Who was the first one out of those 4?
Okay. I'm gonna go through my process of elimination here. I'm gonna kind of think it out in real time. So I don't think it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because the other animes are older. I don't think it's Dragon Ball Z. So it's between Time Travelers and Sailor Pluto from Sailor Moon. And I think Time Travelers predates Sailor Moon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go with Time Travelers.
Honestly, didn't think he was going to get that one correct. Okay, you're going 3 for 3 right now. All right. Very nice.
Oh, somebody get some ice and water because I'm on fire.
I really didn't think I didn't think he was going to get that one. I was like, okay, because I was looking at the answers on Google and I was like, he probably will not get this, but you got it.
I'm not have
surprised. You got that one.
Kobe, I would not have gotten that if it wasn't multiple choice. Multiple choice saved me.
I can see that because I honestly didn't think he was going to get that one. I was like, oh, he might maybe pick A. Like my brain was like, he might pick A because I know the manga for it came out like the 1993, but the anime I believe came at 92.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. So I was very shocked that you got Time Travelers correct because the novel came out in 1967 and it was filmed in the 2006.
Oh, wow.
So you got that one.
Heck yeah, 3 for 3. Let's go.
Let me see. Okay, let's see. Another one. This one is going to be in One Piece. Are you at least familiar in One Piece?
All right, so if you're listening to this, do not hate me out there, but I've seen like 5 episodes. But I have watched like different YouTube videos explaining some of the plot lines and stuff like that. It's very hard for me to get through that long of an anime, if that makes sense.
Oh no, don't be like one of those people saying that it's so long. I honestly, when I would probably say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, one of my buddies, we actually made it a race to see who was going to get to Wano. And at that point, that was like the last arc where everybody would get caught up at before the newer arcs and other ones came out. But I say I would watch 20 plus episodes a day, and
Wow.
this was a time period where this was a time where I was on furlough, and so I was just basically just getting paid just to stay home. So I watched 20 plus episodes a day and just to get caught up in like 3 months on like One Piece. So like it's a chance that you can get caught up in One Piece if you just kind of like pace yourself a little bit.
Okay. You know how we're talking about time travel this episode? I'm going to change my answer from our first segment. I'm going to go back to COVID. I'm going to watch all of One Piece when I have nothing to do.
And if you do, get ready for some good tearjerker moments because a lot of these backstories will make you cry. I would say that.
Fair enough. All right. So what was the question?
So for this one, it is in One Piece, who can travel in time going forward? The first answer is going to be A, Luffy, B, Law, C, Toki Kazuki, or D, Blackbeard.
All right. Wow. Having not much knowledge of One Piece makes this tough, especially for my, process of elimination, whatever. I know Luffy, he's stretchable. He be stretching. I'm gonna say Blackbeard.
That's your final answer?
Well, give me the options one more time.
I can do that. So A was Luffy, B was Law, C is Toki Kazuki, and D is Blackbeard.
Actually, I'm gonna change my answer to Toki Kazuki, because the name sounds badass. That's my only reasoning. No logic. It just sounds like a badass name. We're going with that. Lock it in.
See, I don't know why. The next time we have another trivia, I'm about to make it hard as possible just for you. So
No,
you got that one
did I
correct.
get that?
You did.
No.
She ate the Toki Toki no Mean modeled Tom Tom fruit. She was actually from the past in Wano, and she pretty much forward herself and most of her family and some of the samurai people into the future where they met up with Luffy in the present. She skipped over, I believe, 800 years into the future. So at this point, she's still young and still has her youth of like using that devil fruit, but it allows you to jump into the future. So to say. So
Hey,
good job.
interesting.
Good
So
job.
That's what, 4 for 4?
Yeah, like the next time we do another trivia, I'm about to make it hard just for you because
you're gonna have
that's
to give me a
crazy.
challenge, man.
I do. Actually, I wonder if you can get this one right. Well, you know what? Let's make it six questions then.
That's fine.
So for the fifth one, this one's going to be in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 3, how many stands can stop Tom?
I'm assuming I don't get multiple choice.
No. This one is just straight, just how many that you could possibly like name.
All right. Let's see. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Sure can. It says in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 3, how many stand users can stop Tom?
I know Dio Brando is one. What's the name? I think there's 2 or 3. I'm just trying to remember names. I know Dio Brando.
That's one of them.
I got a last name. I just can't think of the first name. The last name I'm thinking of is Cujo, but I can't think of the first name. I want to say it's similar to.
Yeah, I see.
I want to say
it's similar to it.
Is it Jotaro Kujo? Jotaro?
Jotaro, yes.
Jotaro.
You got that right.
5 for
So
5. Kobe, 5 for
crazy.
5.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Because in JoJo's Bizarre Part 3, there are 2 stand users that can stop time. The first one was Dio Brando.
Mm-hmm.
In Part 3, when he first got his stand can stop time up to 9 to 10 seconds. When him and Jotaro had their fisticuff fight when they were fighting in the city, and when Jotaro figured that him and his stand is basically just the same, the only difference between their stands is Jotaro's stand stop it between 5 seconds, while Dio can stop his for like 9 to like 10 seconds.
Nice. All right, I'm 5 for 5. The pressure is on. Kobe, hit me with that
See,
last
I
question.
really didn't think you was going to get that.
I had to do some deep thinking
Yeah.
because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Didn't think you was going to get that. I was like, okay, maybe you could get at least one wrong. Yeah, next time when I do another trivia segment, I'm gonna make these a little bit harder for you.
That's fair.
Okay, the final one is going to be a true false one.
Okay.
So in Black Clover, does Julius Navarro steals abilities while using time magic? True or false?
True.
Did you say true?
I said true.
No, actually, that one is false. He does not while he uses time magic. So that one was false.
All right. Well, I mean, Kobe, 5 for 6 is not bad. At least I don't think it is.
No, that really isn't. No, I think you did really good because I honestly thought you at least would probably miss 2 out of like the questions that I had lined up. So I was like, okay, I didn't want to make it too hard, and I didn't want to try to make it too easy. So I tried to keep it right in the middle, just perfectly as like possible. But
Yeah,
you did really good.
Absolutely. I feel good about myself. That JoJo one really stumped me real good, but I just had to dig into that brain devour,
Should have, honestly. Yeah, the next one, I got you. I was trying to make it a little bit easy, but not too crazy hard. But the next time, I'm gonna turn up the heat just for you.
Yeah, man. We were playing on easy mode. We need to turn it up to like intermediate or something. Advanced.
I do. Like, I need to be like Bubbles when she was in the training room and she turned that doll all the way up to like level 11. That's where I need to do to you. Just turn it to level 11.
For sure. Turn the dial all the way up.
All the way up. Oh, say less. Say less.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all the time we have for you guys. Thank you for listening to the Tap In Conversation podcast.
Also, listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok.
And just remember, guys, love above hate.
Peace and love and positivity.
Bye now.
You already know what it is.